Now we are going to discuss Pallavas and Badami Chalukyas. These Pallavas and Badami Chalukyas, they would come under the early medieval period and also post-Gupta period. This we can call as the post-Gupta period or early medieval period, that is from 550 to 750, this period. 550 to 750, this period. Coming to this point in the history of India, coming to the point of the map of the history of India, that is it is ancient India map. This is North India, this is South India. Here in the South India, this part, originally this part was under the control of the Badami Chalukyas, and this part was under the control of the Pallavas. The contemporary period, this part was under the control of the Vengi Chalukyas. Chalukyas are different types that we will discuss in the later period. But now our topic is to take Pallavas. We will take the Pallavas. Early medieval period in the South India. South India below the Vindhyas. Below the Vindhyas in the ancient period, this part, Deccan, was under the control of the Satavahanas. After the Satavahanas, this area was ruled by the Vakatakas. Deccan was ruled by the Vakataka kingdom. This Vakataka kingdom, they ruled Maharashtra from 3rd century AD to almost 6th century AD. Even though they ruled South India up to the part of Kurnool and that areas, they ruled Vakataka ruler like woman ruler in the Vakataka kingdom. She was Prabhavati Gupta. During the Gupta's period, Prabhavati Gupta, she was woman ruler of the Vakataka kingdom. They ruled up to almost Kurnool, that areas. But they become more important in the North India than the South India. Political history of the Vakatakas become more importance in the North India than South India. But culturally, the Vakataka kingdom became a channel for the transmitting Brahmanical ideas and social institutions from north to the south. So after the decline of the Vakatakas, followed by the Chalukyas. After the Vakatakas, this area fell under the control of the Badami Chalukyas. Below the Badami Chalukyas, Pallavas. Now coming to the point of the Pallava kingdom. Pallavas originally, they are two parts. Pallavas are two parts, ancient Pallavas and imperial Pallavas. These imperial Pallavas are also called as Bruhat Pallavas. Ancient Pallavas, they were continued as a feudals. Ancient Pallavas continued as feudals of Ikshvakus and feudals of Vishnukundinis. Feudals of the Ikshvakus and feudals of Vishnukundinis. Ancient Pallava kingdom, important rulers are Veerakuchavarma. He issued Manchikallu inscription. Manchikallu inscription is the main source for the knowing of Pallavas, ancient Pallavas and contemporary ancient Pallavas like Ikshvakus and others. Another important ruler of this ancient Pallava kingdom, Sivaskandavarma. Sivaskandavarma issued Maidavolu inscription. And also he issued Haradavalli inscription. Haradavalli inscription. So these two inscriptions were issued by the Sivaskadavarma. But ancient Pallavas are not important now. Now we are going to discuss about the imperial Pallavas. Imperial Pallavas, also called as Bruhat Pallavas. Imperial Pallavas, they were also called as Bruhat Pallavas. Whereas coming to the point of Pallavas origin, the origin of the Pallavas, Pallavas might be the feudals of different rulers like Ikshvakus and Vishnukundinis earlier, and the Pallava kingdom might be came from the Pahlava according to BC they. BC Rice. BC Rice, he opinion that Pallavas were the origin of the Pahlavas. Pallavas, they were originated from the Pahlavas or Parthians. Pahlavas or Parthians. So this is one opinion among the Pallavas origin of the Pallavas. Yeah, in the origin of the Pallavas, we discussed that BC Rice, according to the BC Rice, he said that Pallavas belonged to the Pahlava dynasty, Pahlavas dynasty or Parthians. The origin of the Pallavas or the Pahlavas or Parthians. Another scholars, they said that Pallavas were the descendants of the Naga rulers of Jaffna. Naga kings of Jaffna. This was another opinion regarding the origin of Pallavas. But KP Jayaswal, he said that Pallavas belongs to Tondai Mandala. Pallavas belongs to the Tondai Mandala, and they were the feudals of Vakataka kingdom. According to the KP Jayaswal, he opinioned that Pallavas were feudals of Vakatakas. Another person, S.K. Iyengar, Sri Krishna Iyengar, S.K. Iyengar. S.K. Iyengar, he opinioned that Pallavas were one family of the Satavahanas, and Pallavas were the feudals of Satavahanas, and they came from the Satavahana period. This is the origin of the Pallavas. Like this, Pallavas, they originated. Coming to the point of the Pallavas political history of the Pallavas. This is Bruhat Pallavas. We are going to discuss the Bruhat Pallavas. Bruhat Pallavas are also called as Greater Pallavas or Imperial Pallavas. Bruhat Pallavas or Imperial Pallava kingdom was founded by the Simhavarma. He was also called as Simha Vishnu. Originally he was Buddhist. So he included Ceylon. He captured the Ceylon. He included Ceylon in his dynasty. And he defeated the contemporary all Tamil rulers of that period. That is Pandyas. He defeated the Pandyas. He defeated the Cholas. He defeated Pandyas and also Cholas. Complete Tamil Nadu. And also he occupied some areas of the Ceylon, went to the Ceylon area. Pallava history assumed the different character from his ruler onwards, and he was considered as he adorned in his court. Bharavi lived in his court. Bharavi adorned in his court. Bharavi who wrote Kiratarjuniyam. According to some opinions, Bharavi was court poet of the Simha Vishnu. Simha Vishnu, initially he was a Buddhist, later period he converted into the Vaishnavism. That's why he was called as Simha Vishnu. Vaishnavism. He worshipped the Vishnu. Vaishnavism. After this, next ruler, Mahendravarma I. Mahendravarma I was the first great ruler of the Pallavas. Mahendravarma I was the first great ruler of the Pallavas. He was not only a soldier, he was but also a statesman, religious reformer. He was a statesman, religious reformer, and he was an architect, good architect. He constructed many temples, good architect, and also he was a poet. He wrote Matta Vilasa Prahasanam. He was a poet. He was a musician. He was also musician. Like this, he was a man of multi-character. His rule was significant in the development in the field of political, religious, literature, and art and architecture. He rendered the service of Pallava kingdom in the development of the political development, religious development, literary development, art and architectural development continued during his period. So, he was a great poet, He composed Matta Vilasa Prahasanam, that is Matta Vilasa Prahasanam. His title also Matta Vilasa. He was a good painter, so he was called as Chitrakara Puli, good painter and musician. He has multi-knowledge person. That's why he was called as Vichitra Chitta. He was called as Vichitra Chitta. Mahendravarma, he was a good painter, Chitrakara Puli. He wrote Matta Vilasa Prahasanam. And coming to the point of the contemporary rulers of Mahendravarma I, he was a Badami Chalukya ruler, Pulakesi II. Badami Chalukya ruler, Pulakesi II, and also Harshavardhana. Badami Chalukya ruler, Pulakesi II, and also Harshavardhana. These two are the contemporary rulers of Mahendravarma I. During the time of the Mahendravarma I period, started conflict between the Badami Chalukyas and Pallavas. Conflict between Badami Chalukyas and also Pallavas. Badami Chalukya ruler Pulakesi II. According to the Pulakesi II Aihole inscription, they record Battle of Pulaluru. In the Battle of Pulaluru, Pulakesi II defeated Mahendravarma I, and Mahendravarma I was killed. Mahendravarma I was killed and defeated. Sometimes Kanchi was also occupied by the Pulakesi II. Kanchi was also occupied by the Pulakesi II. In the year 630 AD, Mahendravarma died in the hands of Pulakesi II. So Mahendravarma, during his period, he constructed rock cut temples. Different areas he constructed the rock cut temples. That means he cut the rocks and constructed cave temples. That is rock cut style of architecture introduced by the Mahendravarma I. And Mahendravarma I, he wrote Sanskrit Dhamma. Already I said to you, Matta Vilasa Prahasanam. And after the Mahendravarma I, Narasimhavarma I came to the throne. Narasimhavarma I, he was son and successor of the Mahendravarma I, and he was called as Mamalla. He was the greatest ruler and he was called as Mamalla. Mamalla means Mahamalla, good wrestler. He was a good wrestler. He also constructed Mamallapuram. That is also called as Mahabalipuram. Mamallapuram or Mahabalipuram was constructed by the Narasimhavarma I. Narasimhavarma I, he took the avenge of his father. That is, his father was killed by the Pulakesi II. That's why Narasimhavarma I invaded on the Vatapi and he killed Pulakesi II in 642 AD. In the 642 AD, in the Battle of Manimangala, in the Battle of Manimangala, Pulakesi II Badami Chalukya ruler was defeated and killed by the Narasimhavarma I. Narasimhavarma I, he captured the Badami. That's why he was called as a Vatapi Konda. Badami is also called as Vatapi. He was called as Vatapi Konda. In this struggle, in this war, he was helped by the great army general called as Chirutonda Paramjoti. Chirutonda Paranjoti. Tirutonda Paranjoti, he was army general who helped to the Narasimhavarma I in the battle of Manimangala. Finally, Narasimhavarma defeated Pulakesi II. Pulakesi II died in the hands of the Narasimhavarma. Narasimhavarma occupied Vatapi, so he was called as Vatapi Konda. And he also vanished the Cholas, Cheras, Pandyas. He defeated Chola, Chera, Pandya rulers, and he continued his military expedition up to the Ceylon. Manavarma, Ceylon ruler Manavarma was also defeated. Ceylon ruler Manavarma became feudal of Narasimhavarma I. During this reign, during the Narasimhavarma I reign period, Huyansang visited his dynastic Pallava kingdom, and Huyansang, he described about the Kanchi. According to the Huyansang, Kanchi was a greatest learning center. And he also paved the way for the development of the agriculture. Narasimhavarma I paved the way for the development of agriculture. During his period, great Nayanar, Appar was the great Nayanar, lived contemporary to the Narasimhavarma I. And Narasimhavarma I, the greatest work of the Narasimhavarma I, he constructed pagodas at Mahabalipuram. Pagodas at Mahabalipuram. These pagodas are also called as monolithic chariots. Pagodas means monolithic chariots. There were 7 monolithic chariots. 7 monolithic chariots were constructed by the Narasimhavarma I. Out of these 7, 4 for the Pandavas, 1 for Draupadi, and 1 for Krishna, 1 for Ganesh. 4, 1, 1, 1. 4 Pandavas, 1 for Draupadi, 1 for Lord Krishna, and another for Lord Ganesh. Monolithic chariots, that means single rock. He constructed chariots with a single rock. During his period, Kanchi was biggest learning center. After the Narasimhavarma I, his son Mahendravarma II came to the throne. Mahendravarma II, he ruled very short period. During the time of the Mahendravarma II period, Pulakesi I's son Vikramaditya invaded and Vikramaditya killed Mahendravarma II. Mahendravarma I was killed by the Pulakesi II. Mahendravarma II was killed by the Pulakesi II's son, Vikramaditya I. So during the time of the Mahendravarma period, again Pallavas fell into the troubles. After this, Parameswaravarma I came to the throne. Parameswaravarma I, he killed again Vikramaditya. Like this, nearly from 600 to 700, this period, 1 century, nearly 600 to 700, 1 century, there occurred struggle, that is a conflict between the Pallavas and Badami Chalukyas. Here, Pallava ruler again, Parameswaravarma I killed Vikramaditya, and Vikramaditya titled Ranarasika. This Vikramaditya title Ranarasika, this title was gained by the Parameswaravarma I because he killed Vikramaditya I. And Shiva temple, he constructed, Parameswaravarma constructed Lord Shiva temple because he was a devotee of Lord Shiva. He constructed Lord Shiva temple at Kuram. This was considered as a first structural temple. But it was a small temple, not a huge temple, it was a small temple. After the Parameswaravarma I, Narasimhavarma II came to the throne. Narasimhavarma II, he was also called as Rajasimha. He was one of the greatest ruler. He was great architect. He constructed magnificent temples like a Shore temple at Mahabalipuram. He constructed Shore temple at Mahabalipuram. He constructed Kailasnath temple at Kanchi. And during his court, Dandi was there. Dandi wrote Dasakumara Charitra. Dandi adorned the court of the Narasimhavarma II. Dandi wrote Dasakumara Charitra. Dasakumara Charitra in Telugu was written by Ketana. Ketana wrote Dasakumara Charitra in Telugu. Dasakumara Charitra in Telugu. That's why Ketana, he was called as Abhinava Dandi. Abhinava Dandi. Ketana is called as Abhinava Dandi, modern Dandi. And Narasimhavarma II, he sent embassies to the China. He maintained close relations with China. After this, Parameswaravarma II, he was killed by the Vikramaditya II and Ganga king. Gangas, they were ruling Mysore. Here, Mysore Ganga rulers. and Kalinga Ganga rulers. There are two types of the Ganga rulers of that period. These are called as Eastern Gangas. These are called as Western Gangas. Western Ganga kingdom is Mysore Ganga kingdom. Mysore Ganga ruler, with the help of the Mysore Ganga ruler, Vikramaditya II killed Parameswaravarman II. By the end of the Parameswaravarma II, the Simhavishnu line, the line of the Simhavishnu was ended. The line of the Simhavishnu was ended. After this, another ruler, Nandivarma, came to the throne. Nandivarma II, he was descendant of the Pallavas, but not the line of the Simhavishnu, and he was called as Pallava Malla. Nandivarma II, he was called as Pallava Malla. He was devotee of Lord Vishnu. That's why he constructed Vishnu temples. And during his period, Vaishnava saint Tirumangai Alvar was contemporary of Nandivarma II. Tirumangai Alvar, he was contemporary of Nandivarma II. And next, later Pallavas. These Pallavas, that means this Nandivarma Pallavas are called as Kuduva Pallavas. Kuduva, Simhavishnu, after the Simhavishnu line, next Kuduva line was started from the Nandivarma period. So later Pallavas, coming to the point of the latter Pallavas, Nandivarma II himself described as one of the who was born to the rise of the prestige of the Kadava family. All this we discussed. Nandivarma II, Dantivarma, Nandivarma III, last ruler Aparajita Varma. Last king of the Pallavas, Aparajita Varma. Aparajita Varma in 897, he was defeated by the Aditya Chola. Aditya Chola defeated Aparajita Varma, and Aparajita Varma with the Aparajita Varman ended the Pallava dynasty. He was last Pallava ruler, Aparajita Varma. And regarding the Pallavas, we are going to discuss the most important thing, Pallavas art and architecture. Pallavas art and architecture developed in the four ways, that is Mahendra Varma style, Mamalla style, Rajasimha style and Aparajita Varma style. This Mahendra Varma one style is considered as a rock cut style of architecture. This is famous rock cut style of the architecture. He constructed cave temples. These cave temples were also called as mandapas. They have simple Garbhagruha and Mandapa. The most important among them is Pallavaram, Mamanduru, Mahendravadi, Vallam and Talavanuru. These are the important places of rock cut style temples which were constructed by the Mahendra Varma one. After this, Narasimha Varma. Mamalla style is considered as Narasimha Varma one. He was called as Mamalla. His style is called as Mamalla style. He constructed monolithic radhas, Ekasila Radhalu at Mamallapuram, that is Mahabalipuram. Panchapandava Radhas, they are also called as Panchapandava Radhas. Each Radha or chariot, it carved out of a single rock. The complete Radha, complete chariot, carved out of a single stone, that is called as monolithic. So these Radhas are depictive of 5 different forms of the temple architecture. One is different, another one is different. So each and every Radhas are different from one to other. Like one is elephant form, another one is circular form. Like that, there are different types of the forms of This style is called as Mamalla style. Narasimhavarma one style is called as Mamalla style, and he also constructed mandapas. They are also called as mandapas. Next to, after the Narasimhavarma, Rajasimha style of the architecture. Rajasimha style of the architecture and Nandivarma style of the architecture, both are the structural temples. They constructed structural temples. One structure for the temples, that means Garbhagruha. Garbhagruha was surrounded by the path and a pillared hall. Like this, different buildings were constructed. The monumental was Kailasnath temple at Kanchi, Shore temple at Mahabalipuram, Nandivarma to Vaikunta Perumal temple at Kanchi, Nandivarma to he constructed Vaikunta Perumal temple at Kanchi. The temples built by the latter Pallavas like Kanchipuram Pallavas, Kanchipuram temples, Panamalai temples, Kuram temples, Tirumani temples, Tirutani and Gudimallam, all these temples comes under the Rajasimha and Nandivarma temples. Rajasimha, Nandivarma temples are the somewhat huge temples. Huge temples. After this, Aparajitavarma temple. So in this Aparajitavarma temple, the Pallava architecture is becoming the Dravidian architecture. It developed as a Dravidian architecture during this period. So this architecture dominated by the early 19th century AD. So that is about the Pallavas. After the Pallavas, the contemporary of the Pallavas were the Chalukyas. Chalukyas are different families. There are different Chalukyas. Like in the Indian history, here, this area, first that area was ruled by the Badami Chalukyas. Next, after the Badami Chalukyas, this was ruled by the Rashtrakutas. After the Rashtrakutas, this was ruled by the Kalyani Chalukyas. Remember here, both Badami Chalukyas and Kalyani Chalukyas, these two Chalukyas are considered as Western Chalukyas. These two Chalukyas ruled western side. That's why these two Chalukyas are called as Western Chalukyas. Same period, there were Eastern Chalukyas, that is Vengi Chalukyas. These are the Eastern Chalukyas. Between the Badami Chalukyas and Vengi Chalukyas, there were some small Chalukya rulers here, like Mudigunda Chalukyas. These ruled from Khammam. Mudigunda Chalukyas ruled from Khammam, Telangana. Along with this, Vemulavada Chalukyas. These Vemulavada Chalukyas, they ruled Karimnagar area. These two, Mudigunda and Vemulavada Chalukyas, lived between the Badami Chalukyas and Vengi Chalukyas. Whoever is become powerful, they used to support them. Suppose Badami Chalukyas are powerful, Mudigunda and Vemulavada Chalukyas will give the support of the Badami Chalukyas. If Vengi Chalukyas are powerful, these two would give the support of the Vengi Chalukyas. So this is about the Chalukyas family. There are different types of the Chalukyas family. Badami Chalukyas, Eastern Chalukyas, Western Chalukyas. Next, coming to the point of the Badami Chalukyas. Badami Chalukyas, they are also called as Western Chalukyas. Badami was their capital. Badami is also called as Vatapi. Founder of this Badami Chalukya dynasty, Jayasimha Vallabha was the founder. But this Jayasimha Vallabha, he was a feudal of the Vakatakas, not independent ruler. he was, even though he was the founder, we can consider as a what is that origin of the Badami Chalukyas. But first independent king of the Badami Chalukyas, Pulakesi I. Pulakesi I was the first independent ruler of Badami Chalukyas. Jayasimha Vallabha ruled from 535 to 560. He was founder, and he was, already I said to you, he was a feudal of Vakataka kingdom, and he got the title Maharaja, but not Maharaja the Raja. He just got the title Maharaja. He and his son Ranaraga, Jayasimha and his son Ranaraga. So these two rulers, they got the title just Maharaja. Based on this Maharaja title, they were the feudals of Vakatakas. These two considered as the feudals of the Vakatakas. This time, Badami Chalukya kingdom that limited to only small area of Bijapur and surrounding areas. It extended only in the Bijapur and surrounding areas. This period, Jayasimha Vallabha period and Ranaraga period. After this Pulakesi I, he was the first independent ruler of the Badami Chalukyas. Pulakesi I wife Durlabha Mahadevi and Ranavikrama Sri Prithvi Vallabha, these two were the titles of Pulakesi I. Pulakesi I, he performed Ashwamedha Yaga. Pulakesi I performed the Ashwamedha Yaga. Pulakesi I, he started the development of Badami, that is a capital. He had two sons, Kirtivarma I and Mangalesa. Two sons. Pulakesi I has two sons. Kirtivarma I was son of Pulakesi I. Son of Pulakesi I. Kirtivarma I, he developed Vatapi fort. He constructed and developed the Vatapi fort. That's why he was considered as a first finest maker of the Vatapi. He developed the Vatapi. He completed the fort of the Vatapi. That's why he was called as first and finest maker of the Vatapi. After the Kirtivarma, Mangalesa, because at the time of the death of Kirtivarma I's son, Kirtivarma I son Pulakesi. Pulakesi, he was minor. Pulakesi was minor. So that's why after the death of Kirtivarma I, Mangalesa, he ascended the throne. Mangalesa, he was brother of Kirtivarma I. Mangalesa, he was brother of Kirtivarma I. His son Pulakesi II was minor. So on the name of the Pulakesi II, Mangalesa continued. But even though Pulakesi II became major, but Mangalesa continued his reign period. It was at this moment Pulakesi II asked the seat of Mangalesa, but Mangalesa did not accept it. Then there occurred war between Pulakesi II and Mangalesa, that is Babai Abbai war. In this war, Pulakesi II, he succeeded. Pulakesi II killed Mangalesa. After the Mangalesa, Pulakesi II, he came to the throne. Pulakesi II was a very powerful ruler. He was very powerful ruler of that period. Very powerful ruler. Because he defeated Harshavardhana, he defeated Mahendravarma I. Like that, he was very powerful and great ruler of Badami Chalukyas. Even if you come to the point of the Deccan, after the Gautami Putra Satakarni, next greatest king of the Deccan was Pulakesi II. So during his period, he issued Aihole inscription. This Aihole inscription was written by Ravikirti. Ravikirti was his court poet as well as army general. Aihole inscription. According to this Aihole inscription, it speaks about the victories of Pulakesi II. According to this inscription, there occurred war between Pulakesi II and Harshavardhana. We already discussed during the time of the Harshavardhana period. Harsha was defeated by the Pulakesi II. And Pulakesi II mentioned Harsha as a Sakalottara Padadiswara. Sakalottara Padadiswara. Harsha as Sakalottara Padadiswara. So this is one. Another one, during the time of the Pulakesi II period, Pulakesi and Pallava conflict was started. In the Pulaluru war, Mahendravarma was completely defeated and killed by the Pulakesi II. But latter period, Pulakesi II was killed by Narasimhavarma at Manimangala war. Pulakesi II, he constructed Ajanta caves. Pulakesi II constructed the Ajanta caves, and Pulakesi II received a Persian embassy. He maintained good relations with the Persian Empire. And also this Persian embassy printed or painted at Ajanta caves. We are knowing from the Ajanta caves. He maintained diplomatic relations with Khusru II, Persian ruler Khusru II. He sent embassy to the Khusru II. But the death of the Pulakesi II saw the lapse of Chalukya power. Chalukya power slowly came down after the Pulakesi II period. After the Pulakesi, Vijayaditya. Next to Vijayaditya killed Mahendravarma II. Last king of this dynasty, Kirtivarma. Kirtivarma was last king of this dynasty. Kirtivarma II was killed by Dantidurga. Dantidurga, he established Rashtrakuta kingdom. Dantidurga established the Rashtrakuta kingdom. By this ended the Badami Chalukyas. Now in this video, we discussed Pallavas and Badami Chalukyas. Next to Badami Chalukyas, they followed the Vesara style of architecture. They constructed temples at Aihole, Ladkan temple, that is Surya temple at Aihole, Durga temple, and Hisimangaludi temples, Jain temples at Meguti. Jain temple at Meguti was constructed by the Ravikirti. And there are 70 temples in the Aihole. That's why Aihole is considered as a temple city, like Kanchi. It is called as temple city. Aihole is a temple city. They also constructed Badami temples. Their architectural style was Vesara architectural style. Pattadakal temples belongs to this period. Pattadakal temples belongs to the Badami Chalukya period. They got UNESCO World Heritage Award. And there are nearly 10 temples in the Pattadakal. Aihole, 70 temples. In the Aihole, there are 70 temples. In Pattadakal, there are 10 temples. All these temples followed the style of Vesara. They followed the Vesara type of the temples. Vesara architecture. Vesara architecture means it is the combination of Dravida style of architecture plus Nagara style of architecture. The combination of both Dravida and Nagara style of architecture is called as Vesara style of architecture. The base of the Vesara is looks like a square temple which developed both Nagara and Dravidian style. This is about the architecture of the Badami Chalukyas. By this ended the Badami Chalukyas. So, in the next video, we will discuss about the Rashtrakutas and other rulers, those who ruled Deccan and South India. Rashtrakutas, Vengi Chalukyas. After the Rashtrakutas, we will discuss Kalyani Chalukyas. After the Kalyani Chalukyas, Vengi Chalukyas. By this ended early medieval period. Then after we will go to the North India Rajput kingdoms. These are all comes under the early medieval period. After the Rajputs, we are going to discuss about the Muslim invasions and Muslim establishment, Delhi Sultanates, all these comes under the medieval period. So, this is about early medieval period, post Gupta period. Okay, good luck to you.